we have on Mr. Adam Parker, who is a detox coach, speaker, and founder of the Detox Blueprint. We had a great chat on all things detoxification and health optimization. Let's dive in to this episode of The Happy Hustle.
Want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Kerry Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality.
All right, Mr. Adam Parker, welcome to the Happy Hustle podcast, my man. I am super stoked to rock the mic with you.
Carrie, brother, it's been great chatting before, and I can't wait to get into this conversation. It's great to be here.
Yeah, man. It's going to be an informative one at that. You are a detox coach, speaker, and founder of the Detox Blueprint, which is a global platform helping high performers cleanse their bodies, reset their energy, and reclaim their health. And after years of battling mystery symptoms and burnout, you went all in on detoxification and now have rebuilt your health from the inside out. You're on a mission to educate over 1 million people on the benefits of detoxification as a foundation for lasting health. And I'm excited to talk about this because actually I'm just coming off a Parasite cleanse as we speak. And a lot of our community is very interested in how to put the happy in their hustle in every capacity, specifically optimizing your health, which is one of our 10 alignments. So detoxification is definitely at the top of the list of health optimization, as you know. But before we get into all that good stuff, Adam, I'm curious, what is something interesting about yourself that not too many people know?
Oh, I love that question. I would say outside of detox and health, a big part of what I do every day is working on my mindset. And the person who has helped me the most is a guy called Bob Proctor.
Oh yeah,
he passed away Legend. 3 years ago, but I listen to his work every day, and he keeps me on the straight and narrow. You know, and also an amazing speaker. I just an absolute craftsman at what he did. So that's a big part of really the success I've had to this point in my health and my career. It's all because of understanding how the mind works, and when you do, it's so empowering. So that's been a really big part of my journey as well. So mindset is huge for me, just making sure that I'm using my mind correctly, because these things are so powerful when we know how to use them, and we're not taught how to use them, right? So that is something that I don't really talk about much, but it's a big part of my life, and I'm involved in that content every single day.
Yeah. Bob Proctor is a legend. Definitely recommend everyone check him out. Are you familiar with Zig Ziglar too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Zig's the stud too. I used to listen to him and Bob Proctor and obviously Tony Robbins and whatnot. And we would call it Auto University. My brother and I would listen, you know, and just put in CDs back when those were a thing, you know. But yeah, it's all about the mindset, man. It's really it's a key piece to the puzzle.
And I think when you're driving in the car, I mean, that is the best time to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I absolutely love, if I've got a 3-hour drive, I've got my podcast lined up, got my audio books, a couple of tunes to mix it up. It's a great way to learn and also because, you know, if you understand how the mind works, you're kind of driving, you can get into these trances of just driving, and you're just, these things is passing your conscious mind going in. You get great ideas. So yeah, I absolutely love that sort of content. You know, it's very powerful.
Yeah, same, man. Well, let's dive into some content that you are an expert in, which is detoxing. And, you know, usually I don't go too deep into one's backstory because it's oftentimes out there on the internet and, you know, people can find it. But I feel like it's important to share a little bit of context as how you got into this detox world, because you did battle with mystery symptoms and burnout, which is very prevalent as an entrepreneur. So I would like to hear a little bit about that journey, if you may share, you know, kind of the origin of what got you into it.
Yeah. So, I mean, trust me, I didn't plan to get into this game.
Yeah.
It was called upon me. So it's coming up to 10, 11 years ago now, living in London, working, what you guys would call it corporate America. We don't now have the same term in the UK, but doing the corporate thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very much burning the candles at both ends, living a life that I thought was healthy, right? But not knowing all of the things that were slowly just draining my battery,
Mm,
from phone in my pocket to, I mean, endless amount of things. But essentially, with anything, everything is a process. Getting sick is a process. Getting healthy is a process. And I was in a process of slowly getting sick. I started getting symptoms that I'd mask them, like, oh, I can't eat that food anymore. Just won't eat it then. Keep going. Or I'm getting anxious randomly. I don't know why. Then just drink more alcohol and it goes away. Like I would create these coping mechanisms of things were starting to be taken away from me. Like, I can't eat that food. I can't do this. I can't. And you just find these like mitigation strategies. And I was doing that really probably from like 25 up until 30. Things were slowly being chipped away. And then at 30, 31, the straw that broke the camel's back landed and everything just crashed. So overnight, I went down to like a handful of foods. My anxiety was crazy. I just didn't want to leave the house. And this was really tough because at the time I was in a sales role. So my job was to be out there. So it got really hard. And then really the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of symptoms was my hormones just completely tanked. I mean, I lost who I was as a person. I felt like my identity was taken away. I lost my confidence. I lost my ability to put on muscle. And I bearing in mind, I knew nothing about health. I knew nothing. I was just a regular guy, just doing, most Brits, we just get drunk on a weekend and maybe on a Thursday night and, get a kebab.
On days that end in Y.
Exactly. So it basically just normal living. And so I ended up getting a blood test done and my testosterone was like the level of an 80-year-old man. I was like, what? And I kind of felt it because I that zest, that kind of sexual drive just completely went. So with that, my whole identity was taken from me because I was, before that I was out there having fun, front of house character. So I realized, okay, something's not right. My strategies of just avoidance and they weren't working anymore.
Yeah.
I would try drink alcohol, but I would just feel terrible. I would get that drunk effect because my liver was just so congested. So I knew, right, I have to fix this. And for a brief moment, I went to my doctor, my GP, or I think you guys call it PCP. Went there. They prescribed essentially steroids for. My hair was falling out as well. That's something I didn't mention. I had like kind of
that luscious hair.
Yeah, I had really short hair, but I was getting bald patches, and I was getting this anxiety. And they basically gave me 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the surgery, and said, "Just take these pills to reduce your anxiety." I think it was like low dose antidepressants. I said no to the pills. I actually took the steroid cream. I took it, and it worked because it suppressed a symptom. But I realized that I need to fix myself. So then that took me down the whole functional medicine, biohacking routes. And trust me, I was the most disciplined man you'll ever. I was up early, my bulletproof coffee, my red light, and all of this stuff. I'm not bashing any form of holistic medicine. All of it has immense value and all has its place. But I think I got into the biohacking world thinking that was a solution, whereas really the way I look at it now, it's if you're at a baseline, it can massively enhance your life. If you have good health, red light, amazing. Ice baths, amazing. It really elevates. But essentially it was giving me like kind of 10% marginal gains. And then I was doing the functional medicine, the labs, the tests. And I was like, right, so, okay, I'm low in all these things. So I'm just on these supplements forever. Is that the deal? And I was just on this constant pursuit. And I was in a really fortunate position in life where I wasn't married and I had a relatively good job. So I had a lot of cash just to throw at the problem. So I was spending a lot of money on all these different modalities. And, I was getting there, but I wasn't really moving the needle. I wasn't who I wanted to be. And then just by chance, I don't know if I was on some forum. I can't remember. I mean, this is even before, this is probably as Facebook was kind of really kicking off. So I don't think it was Facebook groups. It was some forum and it talked about liver cleansing. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I just did this like very basic cleanse. I think nothing too crazy. And I just instantly felt, wow, I feel like something switched back on. I was like, oh, this is interesting. So then my intuition was just like, maybe it's not what I'm adding in, all the pills, and maybe it's what I have to let go of. So then I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is really interesting. So I my intuition was like, lean into this. And then I just started, I had no understand. I was like, right, okay, enemas and colonics and liver cleanse. I just I didn't have any idea of what I was doing. I was just trying loads of things, having terrible Herxheimer reactions where basically you create a bottleneck where there's too many toxins coming out and there's not enough room for them to get out. But slowly but surely through that process, I started to feel better. And when I really started doing work on my liver and my colon, all of a sudden the lights started to slowly switch back on. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Now, I do want to say, this is not like it's all about detox. It absolutely isn't. We've got to have good sleep. We've got to have good nutrition. We've got to have good community. We've got to have connection to God or source or whatever sits with you in your belief systems. We have to have all of that. The reason why I went all in on this, because of all these different pillars of health, there's loads of information on sleep. There's loads. I mean, you can have every diet you want. You know, you want to do carnivore? Great. There's loads of information. The pillar of detox and my body being able to release toxins faster than they're coming in, I realized that's something that we've never had to look at until now, until the world we live in right now, because of the bombardment of toxins we're exposed to.
Yeah.
So essentially, detox isn't like there's no one thing that does not exist. But what I realized was this is something now that it's a modern problem that's been created by a modern condition, because we are just absolutely bombarded, not with just physical toxins, like non-physical, these like non-native electromagnetic frequencies. We live in a very blessed moment in culture. You know, you're in the US, I'm in Portugal, we're chatting. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But modern life comes with its challenges.
Right.
So when I realized maybe it's not what I need to add in, maybe it's what I need to let go of. And that was the turning point. That's when things started to really switch back on. And then I just kept going, because I got back to baseline. I was like, oh, okay, I'm back to normal now. It was about a 5-year journey of figuring it all out. I was like, what if I just keep going? So I just kept going. And, you know, my health kept improving. And you know, now, you know, I call them daily detox disciplines. I do things every day, because it's not like, oh, I've done my detox, I'm good now. We're being exposed all the time. So it's having principles and practices in play just to make sure we're top. So for example, right here, this is my mineral elixir drink. I've got it in a flasker bottle. So this is purified, remineralized, restructured water. So again, nothing like, we're not reinventing the wheel. This is what our hunter-gatherer ancestors would have had from a stream, right? So these things, if we just bake them in, can elevate our health. So really, that was a story kind of condensed. Yeah. And I realized this is something that, with the world we live in, a lot of the issues we're now facing is partly due, and I'd say majority are due to the chronic exposures of all these different toxins, especially you guys in the US. Yeah. Because again, if you dig into it, the laws around how things get, you know, in Europe, so in the EU, they've got to prove they're safe before they get released into the market. Whereas you guys, it's like, get it out there, and if it's proved to be unsafe, we'll take it off the market.
Yeah, exactly. We do it backwards. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's definitely an interesting journey, and I'm glad you went on it so others don't, because now we can learn from, you know, what you've been able to, you know, essentially suffer from now to avoid it for you know, all the happy hustlers out there and anyone out there who's listening. The thing that I've found is there's just levels to the game when it comes to health and feeling good too. So like you could feel okay right now, but chances are you could probably feel better. And if you layer in some of your detox starter tips, just as, you know, a baby step, it can make a massive impact. Let's dive into some of those, you know, daily disciplines, some of those starter tips. I know you have some resources online, but you talk about binder first thing, like some type of binder initially. Like, break that down for us.
Absolutely. So a binder is a negatively charged substance that when we ingest it and it goes into the body, I mean, remember in chemistry, like positive and negative, they attract each other. So when you drink a binder, it could be something like a activated charcoal or a zeolite, modified citrus pectin, bentonite clay. All of them have their own unique kind of structure and what they attract. But when you have a binder in the morning or whenever, what it does is it goes into the body and grabs onto things that the body would have to process itself. So it could be heavy metals, microplastics, metabolic waste, because we produce waste ourselves. It could be excess histamine, and it'll go in and bind onto those compounds and make them inert and take them out of the body. Loads of upsides to taking a binder. It grabs onto the bad stuff, depending on the binder. So if it's like a zeolite or a bentonite clay, in order for it to grab onto something toxic, it will donate a mineral in its place. And another big element to being healthy is getting enough minerals in our diet. Because again, alongside it being more toxic, the food we're eating is not as nutritious.
Right.
There's loads of studies on it. A carrot today has the numbers are crazy. At least half the nutrition of a carrot from 50 years ago due to monocropping, pesticide use, essentially the quality of the soil. So getting back to binders. So when we have a binder in the morning, or it can be whenever, it helps clean house in our digestive system. It's there's loads of studies on zeolite in particular, loads of animal studies done. It helps improve digestion, helps improve the gut, heal the gut lining, helps grab on to all the things that again would make us feel sluggish and slow. So again, it's just we can't stop these toxins coming in, even if we have the cleanest environment, we do everything right. We're still going to be exposed. We're breathing air in that has so many different chemicals. If all of the tile wear runoff outside, and then when we're inside the home, it's the VOCs, the volatile organic compounds. There's a lot going on. Now, again, this is not to scare anyone. It's just the reality, and our bodies are very resilient. It's not like we're going to keel over, right? These are chronic exposures that happen day in, day out, year after year. So it's just getting a handle on saying, hey, let's stay ahead of the curve, and let's just give our body that extra support just by having a binder every day. It will improve digestion. It will improve, especially zeolites. Amazing if you've got any constipation. It just helps improve bowel movements. It's a real all-rounder. But then you have something like activated charcoal, which will bind to literally anything. It does not discriminate. So if I always say if you drink alcohol and you're having a night out, and again, there's moments. I don't drink alcohol that much, but I'll have my moments. I will always take an activated charcoal on the way home because it will literally mop up everything. Yeah. So again, you can also use it because we want to have our fun, and you can use it to optimize. So if you're having a night out where you're going to indulge in certain foods, and again, I'm not against living life. This is not about that, but you can use these tools to be like, right, I'm going to have the fun, and then I can bind it on the way home. So loads of good applications for binders. But essentially, it just aids in getting the toxins out of the body.
Yeah. And that's one of the key pieces that I think a lot of people get wrong when it comes to detoxing. They don't have a binder, specifically with this most recent Parasite cleanse that I was doing. You have to use the binder, or else the dead parasites will just circulate and make you even sicker. So you really need to make sure that you include a binder in your detoxification process and in your daily existence too. So I love that you put that in there. Let's talk about the number 2 that you mentioned, which is the replenish of minerals daily. You mentioned minerals loosely, but let's go a little deeper here.
Absolutely. So minerals are the spark plug of our metabolism. Like we run off minerals. Like they give us charge. So we need minerals to function. Now the problem is most of us are mineral deficient today. Mm-hmm. So why is that? So we spoke about the food that we're consuming has less minerals in. Number 1. Number 2, we're eating more processed food. It's just life. Like you live in the US, I live in Europe. It's just that's how we live life. We eat on the go. Now, when you eat processed foods, if you eat a whole food, you have all of the enzymes and the cofactors and the minerals in that food in order to, so if you eat an apple, you got everything in the apple to eat the apple and digest the apple and assimilate the nutrients. But when you eat some processed food, it's stripped of a lot of the minerals. So
Right.
then what happens is, in order to process that food, we have to draw resources from what we've got. So even just eating processed food can be a mineral depleting activity. On top of that, we also have more heavy metals in our environment than ever. So I talk about there's 4 kind of main toxins in our world today. We've got plastics or chemicals, heavy metals, non-native electromagnetic fields, and the last one, which no one talks about, is artificial blue light. Definitely a toxin. Definitely a toxin. So heavy metals, we find them naturally in nature, but now they're everywhere because we're mining 3 billion tons a year. We've got all those lithium batteries that Tesla has to get going, right? So, and even the phones, we need certain metals. So now, we have loads of heavy metals in our environment. So what happens is we have our cell receptors. They want minerals to bind to those cell receptors to function. But what happens when we've got less minerals because we're not eating enough, and all the reasons I said, and then we've got more heavy metals. A lot of people today are heavy metal toxic, and the body will use heavy metals in the absence of minerals. For example, if I don't have enough zinc, then the body will use cadmium, which is found in cigarette smoke and vaping. So it's just a very unique scenario where even if we're doing everything right, we're eating organic, we're going to the farmer's market, it's likely we're not getting enough minerals in our diet. So we just need to be proactive. I'd rather ingest more minerals than my body needs and it'll just let it go, than I'm deficient and then it starts to compensate. So real easy wins. I mean, what can we do? Just how do we get more minerals in our diet? There's many ways we can do it. Trace minerals in our water. We can do desiccated organ powders. So my favorite is desiccated oyster. Super powerful. Super powerful. You can
desiccated oyster.
Yeah.
I've never heard of what is desiccated?
So desiccated is where, so you do organs or oysters. So you basically get an oyster, a load of oysters, you harvest them, then you let them dry.
Oh.
Like literally dry them out and then you grind them into a powder.
Oh, got
so literally
it. Okay.
you it's the whole foods as it is, and they put it in a pill. Or I mean, I have the brand I like is called Oyster Max. I've just got it in a little bag and I just scoop a little. It's got a little spoon. I just scoop it straight into my mouth. You can have pills, but I just like to scoop it straight in. But there are desiccated, liver and heart. There's loads of good brands that do all the different organs.
Yeah.
But for me, if you look at the history of oysters, it's insane. So in New York, I think it was like in the 1800s, the average person consumes, I think, 600 oysters a year, whereas now it's like not even one. So oysters were a huge part of the diets back then because getting red was harder, and there was an abundance of oysters, and it was a superfood. So that's my personal preference. I think it's amazing. So that's another way to get more minerals in.
Yeah.
Eating organic. There's so many different ways. I mean,
what about the elements? I'm just curious, like the element, like LMNT, this little salt packet sticks, or a brand like that. What's your take on those?
Yeah, so you've got trace minerals, and then you've got your electrolytes.
Okay.
So trace minerals are like there's 92 elements, right? And they're all in really small, tiny amounts. But we do need large amounts of magnesium, sodium, potassium. So all the same, we need larger amounts of these. We need smaller amounts of these. Like molybdenum and all these tiny trace mineral elements. So we need them both. But we tend to find we're lacking in the smaller minerals because they come from like certain foods or whatever. So yeah, electrolytes, absolutely really good for you. But you can also get a lot of the electrolytes in foods, right? So potassium you get in bananas and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm a big fan of electrolytes as well, but I always lean in on nature first personally. So if I get trace minerals, you can get trace minerals. So there's a really good brand I like called Aussie Trace Minerals, where it's from the South Australian Sea, really pure, They go deep down, grab some water, they let it dry out, and the mineral content of the water is the trace mineral content of the water, and like mimics our blood, because nature doesn't, nature knows, right? And then it's like, rather than a multivitamin, I would do desiccated oyster, because again, anything from nature, the ratios and the cofactor, everything is in the right synergies and the right forms. So there's no right or wrong to it, but I've learned through my journey, nature first. For another one, probiotics, really important. I'll have kefir, or I have some sauerkraut that I'll make, because again, it's like, that's the essence of what probiotics were about, right? It's just taking that ancient food.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my approach in terms of how I kind of view supplementation.
No, I like it.
But minerals really important.
Yeah. No, I mean, the more you can get from nature, the better,
Yeah.
Shit, I'm kicking myself. I usually keep the liver and the heart. I just went hunting this weekend and got a whitetail buck, but I didn't keep it this time. And I'm like, why didn't I keep the damn heart and liver and organ? There's so much nutrients in there.
Yeah.
But there's just anytime you can, get back to nature and, get the rawest, purest form, the better, right? You talk about eating gut healing foods too, as another detox starter tip. Give us some of like the most important gut healing foods that you recommend.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Most people have damaged guts today. And again, even if we're making all the best intentions, because, I grew up on a typical Western diet. I was going to McDonald's, didn't know any better. It's just life, So a lot of us, we've all heard the term leaky gut, and it's easy for it to happen because glyphosate's in pretty much in everything.
Yeah.
And we normally make smarter choices with our health when we need to. So a lot of us have compromised guts. So when it comes to gut healing, there's so much information out there. And this is one of the things I was just really stumped on for so long. Like, how do I heal my gut? I've got to restrict, and it's really hard and it's difficult. So, my way is just what I think works best from my experience, but I'm sure there's many other people that have their own versions. For me, I go back to nature. So there's a diet that I love. It's called the GAPS diet. It's by a lady called Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride. Now, when we think about healing the gut, it's not just the gut encompasses the liver. It encompasses the whole digestive tract. So when we're talking about healing the gut, we've also got to do some liver cleansing, because people will have digestive issues. What's going on? I've got low stomach acid. Okay, cool. So a holistic approach would be like, cool, we'll make sure you have betaine or have some apple cider vinegar, right, to increase the stomach acid, which works. But that's not addressing the root cause of why you've got the low stomach acid and why your digestion's not good. The root cause, from my perspective, is normally your organs are just full up of crap. Your liver's congested with toxicity. So when you've got low stomach acid, it's usually the root cause is poor bile flow.
All right, my happy hustlers out there. Imagine a set of headphones that don't just play music, cancel noise, and take calls, but also optimize your brain and focus in the process. Well, that is what Neurable AI is all about. And these specific neurotech-powered headphones, which track your brain waves in real time using these EEG sensors to help you improve focus, flow, and mental recovery. See, with Neurable's AI-driven insights through their app platform, you can actually get personalized feedback on when you're in deep focus, when you're drifting off track, and when you need to take a brain break. That way you can lock in longer, work smarter, and reduce cognitive fatigue. And the best part is you get the hookup for being a part of the Happy Hustle Tribe. You can save $100 by going to Neurable.com and using code HAPPY to save. I'll tell you what, they're made for high performers who are out there happy hustling a life that they love, both personally and professionally. And they fit with our brand mission, which is to avoid burnout and achieve that blissful balance. So I'm super stoked about this new tech that's out there and Neurable being a partner of ours. And I hope that you give them a go, especially if you're in the market for a new headphone. These are how you can ultimately increase your productivity and avoid burnout. If your brand doesn't look legit, people aren't going to treat it like it is. So whether you're building a biz from scratch or you're leveling up your current brand, 99 Designs by Vista is the ultimate creative platform for you to bring your vision to life. From logos design to app design to packaging to book covers, you name it, 99 Designs connects you with top freelance designers from around the world to create custom, memorable designs you love. We have personally at the Happy Hustle used them for book cover designs, logos, and now currently we're running design contests for our swag shipping box. So that way, when you get a package from us, everything's branded and it looks super professional and on point. Now, you have two different ways that you can work with them. And basically, it's simple. You run a contest, let the global design community submit ideas, and then you pick the best one, or you work one-on-one with the designer who gets your vibe from start to finish. And because you're a part of the Happy Hustle tribe, you get an exclusive $25 off your first design contest. All you got to do is just go to 99designs.com/happy and then claim your discount and then watch your brand glow up, my friend. Do yourself a favor and just don't DIY your design. Let the pros at 99 Design by Vista help your brand thrive.
So we have to look at addressing the liver as well. But to get back to diets and how do I fix a sore gut? So firstly, with any kind of healing of anything, it's not like it's forever. It's not like I have to restrict and never, like I can literally eat whatever I want and have no issues. There was a point where I could eat nothing. I like a handful of foods, but I had to go through. It's a bit like, I remember hearing Ed Milet, and he talked about, when he was building his wealth, he just reinvested everything into his business, reinvest. And then when he got to like millionaire status, then he dined out. And it's kind of like the same with health. You've got to be disciplined and just do the work, and then you can reinvest and enjoy the good. Then you've got it all there. Whereas if you do a little half-hearted and you kind of like, trying to skip things, it doesn't work. Yeah. So I say that point because you've got to remove certain things that can cause inflammation. So things like grains, especially GMO grains, can cause a lot of inflammation. The food that we eat today isn't like the food that our ancestors had. Right. Bread was sourdough bread, which meant it was fermented for 3 days, which meant the gluten was pretty much eaten. Now there's no fermentation. It's just, and the grains were ancient grains. These are now GMO grains. Right. So a lot of the modern day foods we react to because our bodies can't handle them. Even conventional dairy, we would have had raw milk from healthy cows. Now we've got pasteurized milk from unhealthy cows, who've eaten Skittles and have been injected with hormones.
Skittles.
So you can see the difference. You got to remove things that cause inflammation. So grains, ultra processed foods, all that sort of stuff. But in terms of how to heal the gut, the best thing is making meat stock. So some people know bone broth. Yeah. So this is meat stock. They're all kind of much, all the same sort of stuff. But the difference is when you make meat stock, you could literally turn it upside down, and it's like you guys call it Jello, we call it jelly, right? It's just like you literally you couldn't pour it out the glass. It's really solid, that kind of wobbly jelly kind of energy. Yeah. And you make that through cooking bones or particularly certain joints with cartilage. So when you make that and you drink that is literally like drinking liquid gold for your digestive system, because it's got L-glutamine, it's got glycine. They're the things that will repair the gut lining. So that's that. Again, I would love to say, take this powder, and some of these powder mixes are really cool. Like there's some really amazing brands that have really thought it through, and they've got loads of good ingredients, and they are good. And I do rate some of these products. But again, just from my kind of philosophy, nature first, meat stock. If you drink that and you abstain from certain things, give the body space. That's the best way to heal the gut lining. Yeah. Alongside all the other things like making sure the liver's clean, and also in colon cleansing, because the whole your digestive system is basically from your mouth to your butt. So all these other elements, your small intestine, your large intestine, your liver, all of those things have to be cleaned out as well. So there's a bit of a process to it. But in terms of when I eat foods and I don't react, a lot of it is just calming the inflammation and healing the gut lining of the stomach, which is meat stock for me is the key.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely a pro tip. You mentioned kefir. I know we
Yeah,
probably
kefir.
pronounce it different. Kefir.
Yeah,
Um, you know, having the whatever the D word was, oysters,
desiccated oysters.
desiccated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
$5 word right there. I like it. Some of these things. What about any normal kind of fruits and vegetables that you recommend that have a lot of healing properties? Anything in that realm?
Yeah, absolutely. So fruits and veggies, absolutely a value. Again, you want to go organic.
Mhm.
For me, we have a beautiful farmers market that's every Wednesday and Saturday. We go there
Mm,
every week.
nice.
So yeah, fruits and vegetables are really important. Ideally, you want to eat things in season and things that are local.
Yeah, yeah.
But bitter herbs are really powerful for
Mm,
stimulating bile flow. So bile is the most underrated element in health. I find no one talks about it,
yeah,
and
it's true.
bile is it's Mother Nature's detergent. So bile, a lot of people have SIBO or they have all of these kind of imbalances. Like there's more bad bacteria in my gut than good, and
Yeah, yeah.
and things like probiotics, like kefir, very powerful, absolutely. But a lot of it is the reason why they occur is because your bile flow is not as good as it should be. And
Mm,
when bile is going through your digestive tract, it's like just cleaning house, just cleans house.
yeah.
So when you have bitter foods like radicchio or lemon, even like a Swedish bitters, like a good Swedish bitters blend, just or apple cider vinegar, just
Yeah.
stimulate bile flow can be really important,
Mm,
especially pre-eating. So any fruits and veggies, man, like as long as they're, I know like in America you have like that appeal thing, like they spray like God knows
I
different
know.
chemicals on your stuff, right?
I know.
As long as it's in season and it's from a good farm and the intention from the farm is good, it's powerful. Like squashes, root vegetables, all of it. Like
Yeah.
really getting back to our traditional way of eating is really the key. Like again,
Yeah.
if anyone, I said the GAPS diet earlier, just give that a Google. It's all about traditional ways of eating, cooking,
Yeah.
like great broths and stews and
Yeah.
soups
Yeah.
and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm a big fan of fruits and veggies as well.
Love it. Yeah, me too. My wife uh went hard on the garden this year. She
Yeah,
grew a bunch of stuff, and so we're still eating a lot of the squash and the herbs and the cucumbers and all sorts of zucchinis and that kind of stuff. And then I went to
amazing.
Alaska and caught a bunch of salmon and hunt and fish, and I think the problem nowadays is people are so urbanized in cities that they're not getting
Mm.
the
Mm.
exposure to even or access, will you, to get a lot of these
Yeah.
natural foods.
Mm.
And you really have to go out of your way to avoid all of the crap that's out there, the processed food. They make it so easy and convenient. So you really have to have discipline, going back to mindset, right? And
Yeah.
being very much intentional with what you put down your pie hole, because it has a
Mm.
factor. And if you're not feeling great right now, inspect what you inject into your food or into your face.
Yeah.
So really, yeah, pro
That's the
tips
ch-
there.
that's the challenge
Yeah,
because we're in a in a culture of convenience,
yeah,
and I love you going hunting because there's a beautiful connection with nature, and
yeah.
like that is a meditation within itself,
Oh yeah,
being in that environment.
for
And I love what
sure.
you're saying about your wife because you make all this food and it's like, what do we do with it? Well, I've got to
Yeah,
preserve
yeah,
it, and I've got and that's another lost art. So
yeah, it is.
like fermenting food was just a way of preserving food. It's like, okay, we've
Right.
got all these cabbages.
Yeah.
What do we do with them? We'll preserve them and they ferment. You
Right.
know,
Right.
these are this is nothing new, but this is
Yeah.
stuff that this is how we lived,
Yeah.
hundreds of years ago. So it's beautiful when we can reconnect with that.
A
And,
hundred
and
percent.
there's a lovely, you know, sometimes when I work with clients and a lot of them entrepreneurial, they're like, give me the thing. I got, they want the convenient element to it. And I said that is great, but I want you to learn the value of learning how to cook certain things and sitting with that space,
Mm.
because in that space, amazing things happen. Like you have amazing ideas,
Yeah.
Like when I'm making sauerkraut, some insane idea. Like it's about an hour operation. I've got to
Yeah.
cut
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
The ideas just blow up in my mind. I'm
Oh, yeah.
stepping away from that work environment. So yeah, we were in this convenient culture, and it's hard to break out of because
It is.
once you're used to it,
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. Well, it is important though that you give yourself that space away from, your business or your career as much as
Yeah.
possible. In my opinion, that is where the brilliant ideas do take place. And that's why, the happy hustlers who know, they come out on the Montana Mastermind Epic Camp Adventure, and we do no phones, no tech, 5 days in the wilderness, and it's like
I love it.
decreases cortisol levels, increases, blood flow. You're grounded with Mother Nature. You're tuning your circadian rhythm. You're bathing in natural bodies of water. You're sitting around the primal campfire. You're having the human to human connection, which we don't get enough of oftentimes, so it's just like the lost art of being a damn human. It's important we get back to that as much as possible now with the inundation of AI and technology and everything we do. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of rewilding and the holistic approach to the health and well-being. I do want to mention one more of your starter tips, and for people who want the whole list, I know you have a resource. Which where can people go if they want to get the whole resource of detox starter tips?
They go to youridealday.com/10-tips.
Right. We'll link that up in the show notes too for people who missed that, but it is definitely worth getting because you have a breakdown of each. But just one more that was, mentioned on here, the starter tips, is supporting your liver. You mentioned some other ones, sweating every day and swap out the synthetics clothing and reducing your plastic. And there's many others in there. But the liver one, that's so key. And again, not a lot of people talk about it. So give us a breakdown there.
Yeah. So our livers are, I would say probably, there are a lot of big organs in the body that we need. Like we need all of our organs, but brain, heart, etc. But our livers are very important to our health today.
Yeah.
The liver does over 500 different functions in the body. So obviously we know detox, but it helps with metabolism. It helps break down hormones. It does so much. It helps for hormone conversion. It helps with thyroid conversion. It does so many different things. Now, the reason why we need to give it a lot of attention is our livers are under attack from our modern living. I think in the US, I heard a stat, I think it was 25% of the population have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So the term non-alcoholic fatty liver disease was coined because, most fatty liver is from people who are alcoholics. So why are people who aren't alcoholics getting fatty liver? Right. And it's due to our modern condition. I was on a flight last year. I was flying over to Florida from the UK, and I was speaking at the Western A. Price Foundation conference. So we're on the flight, and I'm sat next to an old retired couple, and they were really excited because we were flying to Orlando. They're going to Disney World, and they had their children on the flight, and then they had their grandchildren on the flight. So the whole family were going over. They were so excited. And I was chatting to the lady, and she was just like, "Oh, so what do you do?" I was like, "Okay, I just say I'm a health coach because detox coach." I could tell she wasn't there to kind of like ease it in. So I was like, "I'm a health coach." She's like, "Oh, okay," and she goes, "I don't get it. I don't drink and I don't smoke, but I went to the doctors and they said I've got fatty liver." And I had to explain to her, listen, the mantra of don't drink, don't smoke, and do your exercise, that probably worked 20, 30 years ago, but we're in a different reality now. We are exposed to all of these chronic exposures every single day.
Right.
What are we storing our food in? What are we drinking our coffee out of? What are we cooking our food in? What types of frying pans? Even what clothing are we wearing? All of these chronic exposures over time. And essentially these man-made chemicals that we're exposed to, there's over 80,000 that have been released in the last 50 years. They end up congesting the liver. These toxins are lipophilic, which means they're fat attracted. So a lot of these toxins store themselves in fat tissues, store themselves in organs. The body is very good at surviving and not necessarily thriving. So as we're exposed to all these chemicals and they start to build up, they start to intelligently push them into storage, first in like fat tissue and then into organs. So over time, our livers are getting sluggish and congested with these toxins. And when these toxins land in the liver to be processed, if the liver doesn't know what to do, it's like, okay, cool, don't know what to do. I'm just going to encapsulate it in this bile and cholesterol salts and just tuck it away for safekeeping. So a lot of people today have livers operating at 10 to 20% capacity of what they could operate at because they just got congested over time.
Yeah.
So, and this is not necessarily through living a poor lifestyle. This is just normal life. But normal life, grabbing a Starbucks. Grab a Starbucks. Coffee. Okay, it's good. It's not bad. It's not like a junk food, right? But again, there's the BPA lining in the coffee cup. There's all these different exposures. So today, again, if we want to be a happy hustler and we want to turn up as the best version of ourselves, we have to realize that our livers are under more pressure than they ever have been. So giving it a bit of support, giving it a bit of love to help the liver do its job better, essentially, is really important. Now, when it comes to cleansing or supporting the liver, there's various degrees of, okay, how deep do you want to go? How much work do you want to really get involved with cleansing the liver? So kind of low hanging fruit is to take some supportive supplementation. So things like milk thistle, for example.
Yep.
Very good at just helping the liver do its job better, like increasing its uptake and its function. So that's really kind of entry level stuff. Or we can do bitters, that helps stimulate bile flow before we eat. That's some really cool stuff that we can do just to give the liver a little bit of support. We can keep going up, and this is mainly, I say, more women enjoy doing this more than men, but castor oil packs, really powerful. So again, you can buy them, put them on your liver. You can, I use them occasionally. I'll wear them whilst I'm chilling out in the evening. My wife will kind of go to bed with it. Again, it's a healing solvent, castor oil, and because it's a healing solvent, it will help break down those fat soluble toxins. Once it gets into the liver.
And it's good for the hair too, right? I use it in my hair.
Oh yeah, castor oil is countless benefits. It's a great. I mean, it's been used since the Egyptian times. It's so many benefits to castor oil.
I lather my beard up with it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's great. We've got loads of castor oil here.
Nice.
You can use it. You could do a castor oil flush where you drink it, put 2 teaspoons in water and drink it. Gives a flush effect.
Yeah, and coconut oil too, right? Coconut oil has that effect too for the liver as well, or no?
So coconut oil is a saturated fat, and when you have a lot of coconut oil, it will help stimulate bile flow because when you eat fat, what breaks fat down is bile. Yeah. So that's if not to be too graphic, but if you ever have like floating stools, that's because the fat wasn't broken down, and fat is light, it floats, right?
Oh. Look at that. You learned something new about your poo today, people.
There we go, guys. You've learned something new.
You took nothing else away.
I tell you what is a real game changer. I've been doing this every week for the last 10 years, and I don't miss a week. Now, again, when you hear this, ladies and gentlemen out there, be with an open mind. Some may have heard of it, but doing coffee enemas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've done a bunch.
Very powerful. Very powerful for the liver. You feel like $1 million doing them. I've done them every week for 10 years. And
my mom's a big OG biohacker. She does them freaking daily. And she was a functional medicine nutritionist, but also a pediatric chiropractor. So we were raised very holistic. So she was always doing coffee enemas. So if you're not familiar, my old business partner did a YouTube video of it, how to do it. Look up biohacking secrets, YouTube, coffee enema, and we did a whole video. It was pretty funny. Not that graphic, but that's a pro tip. I love these game changers because, the moral of the story, you got to take care of your liver, right?
Yeah. And there's varying degrees of doing it. But, the liver is, when your liver's working, it's not just, I can detox better. Everything works better. Your focus is sharper. You've got less inflammation.
Yeah.
you've got better lift in the gym. Everything works better when the liver works better. And
Right.
I have people who I work with, and they start doing all the different liver cleanses, and they're like, "Oh wow, my sore knee of X amount of years doesn't hurt anymore." Like random things, they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh
Yeah.
wow," or their hair starts growing back, or like you wouldn't believe when you create space for the liver, because we're not reinventing the wheel, we're just creating space for the liver to do its job at the
Right.
capacity that it wants to do it at. That's the deal.
100%.
And when you do that, it just, it is literally like reversing time. Like
Right.
when, remember when you were 20 and like it was the excitement of being an adult, like, oh, I'm an adult now, right? And you still got the youth and energy like you were a kid. It's a lovely moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that. You reverse all these things that you've just picked up over the years, sore
Yeah.
joints and all that sort of stuff, because you're just creating the space for your body to do what it knows how to do.
Right.
When it gives the right space to do it.
One thing before we go into the rapid fire round, I got to ask you about is a parasite cleanse. Since I mentioned
Yeah.
it a couple of times, parasites, pretty much everybody listening, if they've ever eaten sushi or traveled to a third world country, or pretty much, even just eaten vegetables without properly, or fruits and vegetables without properly washing them, or have pork, have parasites.
Yeah.
What's your like down and dirty just go-to protocol? I know there's layers to it as well, but like just at the base level, low-hanging fruit to help mitigate parasites.
So basically, parasites aren't the bad guys. And I know we think they are because we see these big worms and we get these symptoms.
Yeah.
Parasites, the bioremediators, they're there because they have entered an environment that suits them. So that they land and they're like, hang on a minute, there's loads of food here, there's loads of sugar, and there's heavy metals, and there's plastics, and they feed off that stuff. The analogy is this: just imagine you're walking along the street, and on the sidewalk there's a big load of like horse poop, right? And there's loads of flies around the horse poop because that's what flies like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, I'm going to get rid of those flies. Those flies are done. So I go with a fly swat and I swat them all, kill them all. And I'm like, yes, the flies are dead. Let's go home. Come back the next day. Guess what? Flies are back. And they're there because the poop's there. So in this analogy, the parasites are the flies. So the parasites are there because there's poop that they like. And the poop is the congestion, the crap within our bodies. So when we address the poop and we clean out our inner terrain, those parasites don't need to be there anymore. There's so here's the deal. How can two people go for dinner? They can have the same dish. One gets sick, the other one doesn't, right? One gets parasites, the other one doesn't. It's because the person who gets sick has a terrain that's toxic that is very nice for those parasites to live in. So the long game is cleansing the body. Now, to give you the short game, as in do this and you'll see some fireworks, I would look at turpentine. So pure gum spirits of turpentine. That stuff is very powerful. It's another healing solvent, like castor oil is a healing solvent.
Yeah.
And it's used, again, it's not just for parasite cleansing, it's used for many things.
Yeah.
But again, I would do your research, be cautious, don't just go straight in.
Don't go chugging turpentine, people. Do your due diligence.
Do your due diligence. There are protocols out there online that you can, look into, but that has many benefits when done correctly. And
ivermectin, right? Too.
So all of these things, right? That's again, I go for nature. So anything along the medical route, I kind of avoid. But again, it's out there. It's absolutely proven that it works, right? So there's Fenben, there's ivermectin, there's loads of these pharmaceutical.
What about wormwood? Do you recommend worm?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do
Wormwood's very powerful.
Yeah, and
so
then
wormwood. So you've got wormwood, you've got clove. There's you can buy
oil of oregano as well.
Oregano. All of these different, all of these different herbs. They're all good. They're all great, and you can buy different blends of these things.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: at its essence, something like wormwoods, at its essence, is a heavy metal detoxifier. Because wormwood in nature, it basically draws in heavy metals. So all of these things essentially at its core cleanse the body, right? Because ultimately parasites, they're there because the terrain is toxic, You clean up the toxins. So again, turpentine is a fat soluble. It gets rid of fat soluble toxins. So it's removing the furniture on which the parasites are hanging out on.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
At its crux, it's cleaning up your internal environment.
Yeah.
And when it's clean, it works perfect. It's like the engine of a car. If it's never been serviced and you pop the hood open, it's got leaves and there's a dead raccoon in there, and there's like the oil's all sludgy. You clean it out, you give it a good scrub, you replace the oil, runs like a dream.
Yeah,
Similar thing with our
exactly.
bodies, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Thanks for breaking that down. I mean, I know everyone out there has a lot to consider when it comes to these different, detox starter tips. And, what I would say is really make sure that you do follow protocol, not just wing it.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
Adam's talking about, he has protocols, there's protocols out there, but definitely do your own due diligence and then find someone who is an expert in the field to really support you on this journey. Again, where can people go to learn more about you and what you're up to?
Yeah, for sure. So Instagram is probably the best place. So my handle is at Ideal Day Adam. Also on YouTube as well, same handle. We're about to go big on YouTube. So they're the two main places that people can find my work. I also have a podcast myself called the Ideal Day Podcast. Bit broader. It's health and wellness.
Yeah.
And as I said, detox isn't the only thing. We need sleep. We need community. We need good food. So on that podcast, I bring on my own content, but also world experts in all areas of health. So you can check that out as well.
Yeah, right on. I do like to put people through the rapid fire round. This is just random questions. Before I let you go, I'm going to just fire them at you, and then you just answer honestly. First thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
All right. Favorite food? Go.
Kefir.
Oh, shocker.
Love it.
Favorite movie?
Anchorman.
Nice. Favorite book?
Letting Go by David Hawkins.
Oh, that's a good one. I just read that. What's your spirit animal?
Ooh. I don't know. I think probably an owl. I don't know.
There you
That's
go.
What's coming through. That's what's coming through.
Best business advice?
I would say what you put in is what you get out in terms of your energy.
Yeah.
What you put into something is what you'll get out.
Right on. 3 things you're most grateful for today?
My family, my wife and son, my business, being able to live a life of service. It's great. I love it. And I'm also grateful for living in Portugal because I spent 40 years of my life in the UK. And I can tell you, the sun doesn't come out often.
Yeah.
And here, it's out. I mean, funny enough, it rained today, but just living in a sunny, it changes everything about how
it sure does.
Look at life. I love it. It's just having sun all the time. It's beautiful. And we've been here 6 months and we're just, So 3 things. There we go.
Yeah. Environment largely dictates joy. That's what I say all the time. And then a question I'd like to ask is if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on there, what's that billboard read?
We become what we think about.
Love it. Adam, you crushed it, man. Great chatting with you. I just want to thank you and acknowledge you for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom, your detoxification strategies and the starter tips. And, we covered a lot of ground here, but I just appreciate you and what you're up to. And you're really, breaking it down for people in a very consumable fashion too. That I think is really important for everybody out there to just get yourself optimized. Start with the basic stuff and then kind of continue to level up. And you're spreading a really important message. So I just appreciate that. So thank you, man.
Carrie, brother, thank you for letting me on your platform. I've loved this conversation, man. I love your energy.
Yeah.
And thanks again. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Before I let you go, tie a bow on everything we talked about. Just give the happy hustlers a little rallying cry if you can when it comes to, all things health.
Yeah. So we live in a very unique environment today, but we can also thrive in this environment when we have the right tools. When we know better, we do better. And I would encourage, if you're in that mindset of being optimized in all areas of life, absolutely look into the detox pillar of health, because again, there's many pillars that are just as important. And if you look into that pillar and you start to add in really easy routines and habits and behaviors, you'll see a dramatic increase in how you feel, the energy that you turn up for your family, your community, your business. Once we learn these skills and they become skill sets, it's a game changer. And again, I'm biased because it changed my life and now I teach it, but I see it time and time again. When you learn these skills, it can change the trajectory of what you're doing. And we're all here to serve. So if you're curious, look into detox, check it out, start to implement little things that you can add on to your routines and see how you feel.
Yeah, awesome. Well said. Final question. What does happy hustling mean to you?
Happy hustling is doing things you love, being in service, and just creating good energy for all. You know, there's so many opportunities in this world for win-wins, right? I love being drawn to people with good, honest energy. I think, like, again, you're a perfect example of this. Just there's so much good in the world, and I just love being in that energy, right?
Yeah.
So we can live an amazing life, have everything we need, everything we want, and add amazing value to the world. Because really, when it comes down to it, really, it's about being in service.
Yeah.
That's another level of happiness when you're in service, you know, right, in service of raising your child, in service of helping. Like that's the real joy. Yeah, you can go buy all the nice stuff, and it's cool and it's exciting, and you work hard, but it's fleeting. What really lands is when we're having an impact on people. You know,
Yeah.
that's what happy hustling is for me.
Boom. Love it, man. Mic drop, y'all. Adam Parker, thank you for watching and listening,
Thank you,
buddy.
brother.
We appreciate you, and keep on happy hustling. Peace and love, everybody.